All right. Thank you. All right. Welcome back, everyone, to Inklings Behind the Scenes. This is JS Bray with Mr. Bray Labs. And today I have the incredible Tyler Reid. Hey, Tyler, you want to say hello?
Hey, thanks, Jesse. I'm so happy to be here. Yeah, Tyler Reid from Film
Wow.
Best.
So what's the specific role that you have in filmmaking?
Well, so right now I work for a company called Film Best, which is located in Gothenburg, Sweden. It's a co-financing company, and we also own our own studio. But the role I have is a production advisor for productions that are wanting to use virtual production, post-production, any of the regional suppliers and things like that inside our region. So I work with both co-financing productions that are coming in and need some support, and also any other productions that are coming into Gothenburg, Sweden, and have some questions about what's available and what type of resources are out there.
Oh, that's great. So you're on the finance side, which is a very important part of everything. I think a lot of creatives, I think we just sit there in a room and we create, and then we somehow everything just comes together, right? Uh,
Exactly. Exactly.
what got you interested in getting in that side of the creative aspect?
Well, I've been working in film in some capacity since I was about 19 years old, so almost 21 years. And this is all I've pursued. I mean, even in high school, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, I was just studying media classes, and it's always been film centric. And like many people, I wanted to be a director. So I started on the creative path and, making little short films and things like that, on, you know, 8 millimeter tape and those kind of things. And it wasn't until grad school, actually, that I was working with someone and they needed a producer. And when you're in once like a real film school sort of operates like a very small professional production, and that's the whole kind of point of it. And so I really got into the producing side of it, and I thought this is a whole lot of fun because it was great to take all this sort of creative thinking I had for so long and put it into an analytical and logistical way. And I think that's what makes like sort of great producer and makes producing fun is I always tell people if you want to be a producer, you should start on the creative side and then become a producer because a great producer understands how to problem solve because of usually creative logistics. So if you're trying to figure out, budgets or things like that, it's good to know what can you get uh, from the creative aspect to the logistics aspect and, make sure the director and everyone's happy with the decisions you're offering. So yeah, so then I got into producing, and then it's kind of always is in that realm, producing, and then I do some directing, commercials, music videos, things like that. Production management over time, and then I started working on production management in feature films when I moved to Sweden, and had done that for quite a few years until a position popped up, and I thought, well, this is a really interesting position that sort of runs off the backbone of my production management and producing experience. So that's kind of what drove me over to the financing side because they wanted someone who had kind of that knowledge of working with regional suppliers and infrastructure and things like that, and sort of also from like a sales kind of marketing aspect of it too. So that's
Oh, yeah,
since 20 years
yeah.
and 2 minutes, but
Oh,
yeah.
sure. Well, thank you, Tyler. I know that's a lot to distill in one side, and I think can I just want to comment on a couple of points that you mentioned about starting from the creative and moving in towards more the technical. I love that. Years ago, I still am a musician, but I don't pursue that. But I used to play in bands, and I didn't realize how much I enjoyed producing, and until like I was in a larger group and being on the creative side gives you sort of that sensitive lens to how to talk to people who are creatives. Because if you are just sort of like get it done, if you're sort of used to a certain type of leadership that doesn't lend itself to creatives, you're going to hurt a lot of people's feelings. So, and if you hurt a creative's feelings, they're gone. You're never going to get them back.
Yeah.
So,
But also too, so much of it, what you create is compromise. And if you're a producer and you're trying to offer a solution for compromise, if your solution of compromise in no way aligns with sort of their creative thinking, or even if your solution isn't really creatively defined in the compromise, then there's a lot of sort of butting heads and things like that. So in order to help, a creative fulfill their vision, and with compromise, it's so great to have that sort of that creative background and and problem solving. Like, okay, I know what they need here. We can't afford it, but based on things I have experienced or learned or thought about in the past, I know how I can offer a great creative solution that will give them what they need and allow us to stay within budget or within schedule or things like that.
Oh goodness, yes. That it's so important. I think every relationship needs someone who's grounded, right? So it's like because that's a part of the whole creative process is you're creating something new. You're inventing the so far the unmanifested, right? And somebody has to bring you to earth. So
Exactly.
that's awesome. Well, I just have a couple more little questions, and then just because I appreciate you taking so much, like just to be part of the stream, be part of this community. Oh my goodness! For those who don't know, Tyler has been you've been there since the beginning when we started this stream. I was just sharing a little bit on LinkedIn. I maybe had 100 subscribers or something silly at that time. But yeah, so tell me where is in when it comes to filmmaking, is there a specific memory that you have? It could be from your childhood that you fell in love with storytelling, like visual storytelling.
Um, what? Let's think. That's a good question. I mean, I think two things, and they came from I remember I had to have been 6, 7 years old, and my father had old VHS camera, and he sat me in front of a wall, and he pushed record, and then he paused it. And he says, "Okay, now move away, Tyler, and we're going to put a teddy bear there. Put the teddy bear. Push record." Of course, when I don't get this, and then when you watch it back though, it's like here I am sitting there, and boom, and now I'm a teddy bear, and I was like, "Whoa, mind is blown."
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, how do you do that? It's the most, it's a very simple, simple trick and technique. But that little moment made me realize, oh my gosh, everything I see on screen is being created. And, and then after
Awesome.
that, I was so sort of enamored. I just wanted to watch things, one, obviously for, entertainment and enjoyment, but then I wanted to watch things just to kind of understand them, even being young. And and actually that little thinking about how film is being made is what helped me. I used to be so scared of everything. I was such a fearful child, and I hated any kind of horror films or scary films, but I kind of wanted to watch them because I wanted to understand them. And if I got scared, I would pause and take a deep breath and then remind myself, but just remember, there's people right behind there holding a camera, and there's people standing around, and there's people with a little notebook, and there's people around there. And that helped me kind of in reality that that okay, this isn't real, you can watch this. But then it kept that excitement going anyway too, to being like, okay, and that just made it cool knowing that there's people putting this together all the time. And so that was very, very young. I mean, I was always sort of enamored with it, obsessed with it.
Oh, I love that. I love that that your family, when family introduced you to storytelling, the teddy bear, the magic of cinema. And I think that's why cinema will always endure. And it will always be something, even if we move into sort of immersive technology where even if it's watch a film while you eat a meal that's also a film. I don't know. And who knows what sort of interactivity is our kids are gonna play with. But I know that it's always gonna be some sort of visual aspect to it, like the beauty of storytelling. So because you've been doing this a long time, I just got to ask, do you have the Everest? That's something that you really wanted to do, you just haven't had an opportunity yet. What's something just if we were to dream out loud, Tyler, tell me what is that?
I don't know. I think as you get older, I have 3 kids, and that's all I want now in life is just be with my kids and spend as much family time as I can. It's okay, now when they're out of the house, maybe I'll have some new dreams. But you when you're younger, it's okay, I want to make this kind of film, and I want to do this in Hollywood, and I want to do this, and I want to do this, and I want to win an Oscar, and I want to go, do all those things, and and go to Cannes and this and that. And I've got to do quite a few of those amazing things. And but I've kind of let go of now I just want to, create, share knowledge, and I enjoy it so much. And really, it's just honestly, it's most of what I want to do is about my family, and then the other is just it's just a benefit that I get to keep working in the field that I love to love working. And I have young kids, so when they grow up, maybe I'll be like, okay, maybe I'm gonna focus on pursuing something more. But right now, I don't know. I haven't thought about it for a long time. What's a big thing I'm trying to achieve here?
Sure.
Right now, all I achieve is just enjoy life.
Well, I actually think that, and I think that being present is an achievement. That is a powerful achievement, to be present with your family, with those who love, those who matter the most. And that's an Everest that I think many people don't know how to climb with so many distractions today. And your knowledge is epic. I mean, it surpasses film school knowledge. And so if folks who are not aware, like Tyler has this amazing newsletter, and even just the stuff he shares is like so rich. And you're like, oh man, I wish I would have known this like 15 years ago. I mean, this is so good. So I think that the wealth of resource that you are, just as a person, and how generous you are, is such just a testament to just how you behave. And that's how you are. Being present is your Everest. That's fantastic. So I love that. So have your kiddos, since you got three kiddos, have they got the film bug too? Are they like you in that sense?
Yeah, yeah, and they're so lucky. They have such amazing technology that I didn't have. I mean, I was shooting, stop motion on, push play and pause on a VHS, camcorder, and now the stop motion apps they can use, and we have a small, some different handheld basic cameras that they're playing with, some DJIs and things like that, and so they're each doing different stuff. And except our 18-month-old, he's not really.
Not yet.
I'm just around. But no, my other two older sons they definitely are doing their own thing. Sometimes it's very sort of kind of like talk to the camera, YouTube centric, and then sometimes they're sort of going out and creating their own stories and actually sort of, I guess, we call filmmaking. So it's really exciting to see. Fun.
That's fantastic. Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you just one. I don't know if your kids do this, but my son, 9-year-old, he has I got him a Meta Quest, and he goes on there and he will reenact like he's been reacting these scenes from movies on Gorilla Tag, and then he recently did a reenactment of the Titanic scene, and he's like, what are you doing? This is incredible. It's like
kids are huge Gorilla Tag, and I have a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old, and they both have MetaQuest, and Gorilla Tag is their number one game. I don't know. I mean, how is he going about doing? What is he doing how is he reenacting it? Just like running through the forest, just doing things, or?
So they get all their little buddies get together and they just act out scenes which from what they think happened, not from our movie, like, not the Leonardo DiCaprio version of Titanic, but like what they've read about in books. They'll reenact these historical things. And I make it sound way more educational than it is, because it's just kids playing. But I just like, what are you doing? Oh yeah, we're reenacting this thing from the Titanic. I'm like, okay. I'm like, you having fun? And he records it. And he wants to put it up on YouTube as well. And so we were just working on a logo just yesterday, and it's just like it's just fun just to be able to. I told my son, yeah,
digital theater.
Yeah, exactly.
Like digital to reenact it with your friends. It's like that becomes their stage, and then it's being recorded. And it's really cool.
Yeah, I think that's probably some sort of the interactivity that new filmmaking that's going to happen with our children and our children's children, is that they're just going to recreate new versions of our art. So, okay, Tyler, I just want to say thank you so much. I being on this podcast is really, it's definite. Like one of the highlights of my absolute week, just having you on here, and just the fact that you've been so supportive since day one. So I want to thank you. Before we go, do you have any little bit of sage advice? And I'd love to have you on again, of course. Some advice for those kind of just starting out.
Whoa, everyone always asks that. I guess because it's so broad, but I would say, especially with the technologies we have now, is just create and find the thing that you find most interesting. Usually everyone starts out wanting to do the same thing. They want to be a filmmaker. And what does that mean? But maybe they realize they love like production design by accident. They're like really making their own sets really look really good, or things like that. Just keep creating and then figuring out the thing that you are most passionate about. And also sort of being, I guess, multi-hyphenated, multidisciplined, like really finding a couple of things you really like a lot. It's like, I really like to, be a production designer, and I really like to operate the camera. Or I really like, all those things. Most of the things I talk about on my LinkedIn and my newsletter are very business centric, because I think it's very, very important for indie filmmakers to succeed, to understand the business. But I wouldn't put, if you're just starting out, I wouldn't put any too much thought into that. Just enjoy the process and become creative first, and understand the creativity aspect of it first.
That's fantastic. That's absolute sage advice, Tyler. I totally agree with you in so many layers that you have to have a passion for it, because it's going to get rough, and and you're gonna turn over some rocks that when you're creating, that maybe you dealing with pain or dealing with more than just the play part. So you have to have a passion for it, and I think you're absolutely right. And so thank you so much again, Tyler. I really am just honored to have you on here. I'm gonna, when we publish this, I'll be giving all the different links. So do you have anywhere special that folks can find you online?
Yeah, I guess the easiest is just tylermreid.com, which is, M as in Marshall, middle name. So tylermreid.com is probably the easiest way to find me.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you again. Thank you so much again. You all, thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of this community. We really just appreciate you so much. And we're hoping just inspiring you. And you have a blessed day.